Welcome to another Year of Goodness unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at Ants, published by Capstone Games and designed by Renato Cervo and Andrea Robiani. So this game came out at SN last year, and obviously this is the first time it's available in the States. So we're very excited to dive into this. I know the game is very different than Rats of Wistar, but it has a very similar art style, and I'm sure it's the same artist. But I've heard really good things about this. It's another Euro game that's got like a strong card play mechanic to it. And let's dig in. Very heavy box too. All right, so significant amount of wooden discs. So let's take a little look. Okay, some standard discs. So they're white, black, red, and blue. Although the red's a little more orangey red, which is nice. It's not as vibrant classic red. So nice wooden components. And then these are some of the resources, I believe. There's like, not sure exactly what the resources are actually. I feel like it's like food, mushrooms, and leaves or something like that. So standard wooden cubes, but it's fine. And then more of these. These are a little bit of a larger size, so maybe they count as like threes or something like that. So these are, or are they the same size? They might be the same size. Oh, you know what? I do remember that there were people that had issues about running out of resources, so maybe this little pack is something that Capstone added to add more resources into the game. I don't know that for sure, so I'm just kind of making that up, but it seems reasonable. Okay. All right, we got like a score pad. Okay. Yep. Lots of bags, which is always appreciated. It's nice. And then a lot of cards. So we will take a look at those cards in a minute. And then we have the board, which is like kind of like all puzzle pieces. Okay. So you have like, let's see if I can do this here. So you have like one part of the board that's like the map that's got like the forest area in it. And then you have another part of the board here that's kind of like a display offer, and it's got like tracks and stuff on it. So yeah, I don't have a problem with like with these puzzle piece things as long as they fit together nicely. All right, let's see what else we got in here. This is very heavy. All right. Oh boy. Okay. All right, so these are the player boards, I guess. They're dual layered. Yeah, they're nice because I think there's like an asymmetric thing that kind of fits in here, and then you build out your kind of like your, I guess, your ant hill, your colony here, and then tracking the different resources over here. And then this is where you put the ants, and you have like tiles that slide up because the ants have like different stages. So there's 4 of those player boards. Okay, it's nice. All right. And then there's a full glossary here, which covers, looks like maybe every single card in the game is like described in full text, which is really nice. So there shouldn't be any questions. Then the rule book, which is 20 pages. It's not crazy long. Artwork is gorgeous. I really like this art, and I liked it in Rats as well. So you have your game board here. Okay, so there's one side for 2 players and one side for 3 to 4 players. And then there's some extra components and overlays and tiles that you add to the board for the enemies and the special objectives. You have your room tiles down here, and then your player components over here. So yeah, your anthill board, and then the little tile that kind of like slots in over there. Okay, very nice. All right, and then this is the setup of the game board and the game area. Okay, and then the player setup over here. It's like a decent amount of setup. I'm sure there's quite a bit going on in the game. And then the game flow and the actions here. So talking about the different actions, how the discs work here. The digging mechanic to build your rooms, exploring, foraging, collecting, and the pheromone mechanism, how that works. Okay. And then playing cards. There's quite a bit going on in this game. But this game, I think, is certainly on the heavier side. And then this is talking about the cards and where you would see points and effects and tags and different skills and stuff that they have. Okay. How you obtain stars, which I think causes the game to end. And then the track, the nuptial flight track. And then the end of the game and all the different scoring. So there's a lot of ways to score points in this game. And then obviously you'll have your tableau at the end of the game as well. And a appendix that is chock full of icons. There's a lot going on here. And then the queen tiles, which I think they give you like a special ability and maybe like a starting. They might give you like a starting setup. Okay, so that's the rule book. And then, oh, this is. All right, so we got the some of the tiles that go out on the board, and then some of the tokens that go on your board as well. Let's slide around. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, everything looks really nice. And these are like room tiles, like little Tetris pieces. Yeah, they look cool. And these are like the asymmetric things that I assume they're asymmetric. Maybe they're not. They might not be. They might just be one for each player. Unless the backs are different, the fronts are the same. Okay. Yeah, so that looks like that's it for the cardboard components. So we can take a look at some of these cards. One of the best things about Rats of Wistar, I mean, the game was great, but the cards were really unique and they're really charming and thematic, which was really nice. So you can see here, like, cards are quite thin. Yeah, the cards are pretty thin here. I'm not going to sleeve these things because the deck is going to be unmanageably huge, but I think if you treat them okay, they'll be all right. There's a lot of cards here. But they have all kinds of like nice artwork on them, and I think for the most part they're probably like all unique. So lots of like fun cards to look through here. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed the cards in Rats of Wistar. They're fantastic. And some of them are like pretty funny. I know that there are some attack cards in Rats of Wistar that we just kind of removed from the game because we don't really take that type things in games. But I don't know if they're present in this game. I imagine that they probably are, but you can just take them out again as well. Yeah, the artwork is exceptional. I'm excited to like look through these. I think when you're playing the game, you'll get time to like look through these cards and really see like the artwork, and oftentimes like the names of the rooms or whatever, the technologies are really appropriate for the artwork, and they're quite funny, some of them. So yeah, really looking forward to getting into this and trying it. This is definitely a bigger project though, a bigger game than maybe some of the other Gen Con rivals. So all right, fine. Sometimes tear strips work and sometimes they don't. All right. And then these are like tunnels. So these have little flags on them. They might be like end game scoring things with some instant actions. Cool. Yeah, just really excited to get into this. I didn't see, I mean, I didn't look that closely, but I didn't come across any that had the, like the little, I don't know if it was like smoke or fire or whatever, like burn symbol. Those are the ones that were like kind of attack cards in the other game. So you can see like how thick the deck of cards is. And I mean, I know that there's maybe different types of cards, but there's a lot of cards and they all are unique artwork and effects. So I'm really excited to dive into that. So that's Ants. Those are all the components in there. Like I said, we're very excited to dive into this game. Once we play it a couple times, we'll give you our impressions. So look out for that. And as always, if you enjoyed this unboxing, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel for more content. And have a nice day. Thank you.